It says I'm live now. Try now. And give it a minute because there's a delay. YouTube always has a few minutes of a delay. So you might have to wait a minute and then it should show up. But it says it's live again. I don't know why sometimes it doesn't work. I just noticed that there are a bunch of streams that I did that I think have not worked. They didn't upload because there's some glitch. Anyway, okay. ChatGPT copies the lyrics of other authors. Well, yeah, I mean it's pretending it's using an algorithm to look at all the songs that are written about love and to write something like that. And it does a good job. It does a great job of that. But it doesn't matter. Even if it writes the perfect words, they're empty, hollow words because it doesn't know love. So how can I really be inspired by a song that doesn't actually come from a real place? Right? All right. Noah wants to talk to me. Raise your hand if you want to talk to me. It's fine now. Now you can see it. Okay, yeah. Apparently there's some problem with YouTube. Hello, Noah. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm not bad. And you're in Iran. Where? Are you in Tehran or where?
Yeah, I'm in Tehran now.
Okay, great. And what can I do for you? How can I help you?
I'm trying to get my TOEFL exam very soon, and it has some updates. I think in 2026, the updates will start, and I have to take the TOEFL exam with new format. And I'm kind of nervous about these updates. I don't know if it makes it harder or easier or
That's a good
different.
question. And actually, I did not know about that. So I'll have to do some research about that and find out what they're changing. If I had to take a guess, I would hope that they're making it easier. Because, to be honest, I think it is. I think that what they need language learning around the world needs to have two levels of learning. One is a level of mastery, and one is a level of proficiency. And the reason why I say that is because right now, every language course around the world, they all try to teach for mastery. But it's weird because, put it this way, if you gave an American, if I take 10 Americans off the street and I give them the IELTS test or the TOEFL test, probably 8 of them are going to fail or do really badly. They're going to do really poorly. Why? Because life is not a language test. When you learn language in school, you learn the rules for school, but then once you're out of school, there's no test anymore. That's why language starts to kind of get more simple and common, right? Because we're not taking tests in real life, right? So my point is, the average American person would not do well on the IELTS test or the TOEFL test, and how funny is that? We ask non-natives to have a higher level of English than natives do. That's why I think there should be two. There should be two tests. One is like, I want to be a master of English and know it better than anyone. That's that one. Then there should be the other one, which is just, I want to be able to express myself. That's a different goal. Knowing a language like a master is not the same as being able to express yourself. It's like music. Again, being a master of piano is one thing. Being able to play the piano is another thing. Many, many, many people can play piano and make great music, but they're not masters. But that's still good. It's still beautiful. That's the majority of music is common like that. But then there are some people who are the brilliant masters of piano and they're the best of the best of the best. Great, that's wonderful, but it's still this many people, right? Language and music are similar that way, that If you want to learn music, you can learn music and express yourself with music, and you don't have to be a master. You can be good. You can you can use music. You can be capable, but you don't have to be a master of it, right? Same thing with language. You know, you can be good at it. You can use it to express yourself well. That doesn't mean that you have to know every single grammar rule memorized in your head and that you can recite them and tell why it's wrong. And no, that's different, right? That's a different level. So that's why I think probably they're making the test slightly easier, I would guess. That would be my guess. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. So I will look into it, though, and I'll see. But Noah, if you have many problems, don't make worry another one. Do you understand? So if you're already dealing with a lot of problems, then worrying about it just makes it, now you have another problem. You're worried. You're worried now, right? So worry is a problem. And sometimes you need to say, I don't want to worry too much, because if I worry too much, right? So for example, I also tell people, many people ask me, is grammar important, Teacher Mark? And I say, well, sometimes yes and sometimes no. Like if you're at school, it's important. If you're at work, maybe. If you're a lawyer or a doctor, then yeah, it's important, right? If you're taking a test, then it's important. But if you're at the store just talking to your friend, is grammar really that important? No, not really, you know? So it depends on where you are, you know, and what you're doing. But language is for communication and expression, not for perfection. Nobody has perfect language. No one. Language is an art, not a science.
Yeah, I agree. But in TOEFL, they want us to be perfect.
I know.
Because TOEFL
Yeah,
is really hard.
I know. I know. I teach for the TOEFL, and I know. But yeah, it's kind of unreasonable. It's kind of funny. It's weird how unreasonably high the expectations are for language on those tests. Yeah. Well, what I would tell you is I'm going to give you the basic advice I give to most people about the TOEFL or the IELTS test. One, you should prepare at least 6 months to 1 year in advance. And that means, okay, next year I'm going to take the test. Now I'm going to make my study plan for 1 year. I have a study plan, right? You need at least 6 months to prepare for this test because it's a hard test. It's really hard. So you have to figure that out, right? That's one. Two, you have to figure out what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses. And you have to make a plan that focuses on your weaknesses, not on your strengths. Because a lot of students, when they're learning is an exercise of ego, which means they only like to learn when it feels easy, right? But learning shouldn't be an exercise of ego. It's not about how easy it is. It should be frustrating. If you're not feeling frustrated, then you're just being lazy. And again, you're just trying to stroke your ego by saying, look how easy this is. I can do this, no problem. It's easy. I can do this, right? But you're not really pushing yourself, right? So you need to make a plan that focuses on your weaknesses, because most people, they focus on their strengths because it feels good. It's like, oh, I can do this, no problem, right? You should make a plan that doesn't make you feel good, that makes you feel like, oh man, I suck, but I'm going to work on it. I'm going to keep doing it until I can get better, right? And then you need as many resources as you can find. And the TOEFL or the IELTS test, it's best if you can to try to get a course online. Because they used to have books, and the books are great. But the problem with a book is, as soon as you print that book, it's old. Right? Like, they change all the time. So that's why an online course, if you're going to learn business English or you're going to study for the IELTS test or TOEFL test, online courses are the best because they must be current. They have to be current. So an online course can stay updated and stay current all the time, right? But I have a few business English books that they're like 20 years old. And now when you look at them, it's like, dude, nobody does that anymore. This is some old stuff, man. Like, nobody does it that way anymore. So if you learn that, you're learning outdated things, right? So, and then, also there are teachers who specialize in IELTS and TOEFL preparation, and they're very good also. Then my final advice, which some people don't like this advice, but I think it's still good. If you can afford to take the test more than once, then you should, because it's a really hard test. Many people don't do well the first time. And if you know you're going to take the test again, then guess what? The first time you take it, you're going to be more relaxed. If you feel like the test is the only time you're going to take it, and this is it, I've got to do it now, and that's the only one. Again, now you've made yourself more worried, and that's a problem. Now you're more worried, you're more stressed out, you're not going to do well. But if you feel like, well, I'm going to do my best, but if I don't do that well, it's okay, I'm going to take it again. So now you'll be more relaxed. And if you're more relaxed, then you're probably going to do better. So it works out. You should just tell yourself, even if you can't afford to take the test again, you should tell yourself, I'm going to take the test again. Because it'll make you feel more relaxed when you take it the first time. And then you'll do better. Okay? But if you can take it more than once, then you should. Because there are some tests in this life that are really, really hard. That doesn't mean you're dumb. It means the test is super hard, right? Like, for example, to become a lawyer or a doctor. Why doesn't everybody do it? Because it's really hard. And the exam to become a lawyer, there are some lawyers who take that test 20 times, 30 times, because that test is so hard. Do people think they're terrible lawyers? Well, maybe some of them, but most of them, no. It's just a hard test. It's just a hard test. Just the same as a doctor. Does every doctor pass their medical board exams the first time? No. No, they don't. It's really hard, right? So you have to prepare yourself, okay?
Yeah, so you recommend self-study or having online courses? Because I prefer to study by myself. But
Well,
you said the online courses are better.
Well, no, I didn't say they're better necessarily. I would say that they're both good. I always think you should self-study, okay? But in my opinion, learning anything is a process of sometimes self-study, sometimes you have a teacher, sometimes self-study, sometimes you have a teacher, right? So through the years, I've been a drummer for 39 years. And sometimes I had a teacher for a few years, and I studied with this teacher every week, and I would take lessons with him, and we would work on his techniques, his concepts, his view of music, right? Then I would have maybe a year or two with no teacher, and does that mean I'm not learning? No, I'm still learning. I'm self-learning during that time. And that's a time when I need the time to think about what I learned from this teacher and to use it myself, right? To learn from it, how can I use the things that I learned from this guy, right? Then I'll find another teacher who has a different style, a different mindset, a different way, a different concept. And I study with him for a few years. And then I study by myself again. So self-learning is all the time. All the time you're self-learning. And sometimes you have a teacher, because teachers are guides. And if you need to go up the mountain, if you have a choice to have a guide, wouldn't you? Right? You've never been up this mountain before. Hey, there's a guide. You have a choice. Guide or no guide? Guide is probably a better idea. Right? Okay. So yeah, so and do teachers know everything? No, they do not know everything. That's why I say teachers are not gods. They are guides. They don't know everything. They just know more than you. And sometimes that's important, because If you self-study, you can learn the same things, but it might take you twice as long. Sometimes a teacher can say, hey, this thing that you're doing right here, let's just change this just a little bit. Just do this, and now do it again. And you'll be like, wow, what happened? Now it's what happened? They can give you one little tip, one little piece of advice that makes everything you do go like, oh, wow, that's much better, much easier, right? So for example, just recently, somebody was on here from China and they were asking about their pronunciation. And I told them how Chinese language is a small mouth language and American English is a big mouth language. And they went like, everybody, when I tell them that, the Chinese, they all go, oh, he's right. Like, oh, that's true. That's true. I never thought about that, but it's true. And it's a big difference when you think about that. Now you know that it makes a big difference in what you do. So teachers, you don't need a teacher, but if you have to go up the mountain, isn't it nicer to have a guide? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my last question is I have problem with focusing, for example, in listening, especially in TOEFL listening, because they are really difficult and, academic subjects. They have academic subjects, so I will distract and I cannot focus on 5 minutes hard with hard subject,
Yeah.
I have
Yeah, that's hard. I mean, that's hard for me too. So here's what I will tell you. You have to understand the psychology of your brain, because you have to understand boredom. Like, why do we get bored? Why do we get distracted? Why do we zone out? Like, I'm bored. I don't want to listen to this anymore. And then you have to figure out, what can I do to change that? What can I do to combat that and fix that? So first, you need to practice listening to that kind of thing a lot. So that's usually, I tell people to watch TED Talks. Do you know TED Talks? Yeah, those are awesome. Those are so great. They're like 2 minutes to 20 minutes long, not that long, and they have every field that you can imagine, psychology and medicine and technology and sociology and every idea that's there, right? And they're all good speakers. I would say 95% of them are really good speakers. They don't hire people for TED Talks unless you are a good speaker. If you have a great idea, that's great, but you also have to be able to say your idea well. And so there are many people who I think probably have great ideas that could be TED Talks, but because they don't have the right language, they just don't get invited, right? So TED Talks are great for that. Now, how can you keep your mind focused when you're listening to things like that? You have to find ways to tell a story. So, for example, there's a technique I use for memory sometimes. Now, this one might not work for your situation, but I'm going to teach it to you anyway, just so you understand that what you have to do is find a way to hack your brain. You have to find a way to kind of tweak your brain to do something differently. So there are a few things that you can do like this. One of them is this Pallas technique. It's called the Pallas technique of memory. And there's a funny thing about your brain. Brains remember things based on location more. It's an evolutionary thing. We were designed to remember that tree. We were designed to remember that rock over there. I think I've seen that rock. I know that rock. We've been here before, right? So locations are things that stay in our brain more than other things because of evolution. You can use that. So the Pallas technique is where, when you're learning something like vocabulary, let's say you're learning a new word, you imagine that word like you're carrying that word, and now you're going to put that word somewhere in your house, in your palace. Oh, I'm going to take this word up to my bedroom, and I'm going to put it in my closet, in the bed, in the bedroom, right? When you make that memory of taking a piece of information and putting it in a place, your brain goes, okay, I can do that. Remembering the information is hard. That's the one. Your brain doesn't like to hold on to information, but if you connect it to a location, it remembers it more easily. That's a hack. Okay. Another one that I like to teach people is, when I teach people about making examples for sentences, like they want to write a new word, they want to use a new word in a sentence, right? Most of them, when they use that new word, they think that you're supposed to write the best sentence you can. That's a normal sentence. No, 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 no. Your brain doesn't remember normal things. Your brain remembers weird things. So when you write a sentence, make it a weird sentence. So you could write a sentence like, if the word is microphone, you could say, this microphone is an expensive microphone. Okay, that's a sentence. It's a normal sentence, but it's easily forgettable because it's normal. But if I say, I hit my little brother in the face with my new microphone. Now I paint a picture in your head that's funny, and you're going to be like, I'm going to remember that because that was funny, right? That's hacking your brain. That's hacking your brain. So you have to do things like that. When you're listening to something, you have to try to find ways to hold on to the information by creating a story about it, or trying to create something else that you can connect to it. Memory is about connection, right? The things we remember are the things that have many, many connections in our brain, not just one, right? The things we forget are the things that we only have simple connections. So that's why I tell people that memorizing vocabulary is terrible. It never works. You can remember for a week or two, but you're going to forget it because all you did was the most shallow of learning. And the rule of learning is this: the faster you learn, the faster you forget. The slower you learn, the slower you forget. So people think that learning is about efficiency. Like, I want to learn faster. How can I do it faster? Everybody's always asking me, how can I learn English fast? But the point of learning a language is not to get there faster. It's to be more, well, I'll use the term that we use in music. The point of learning music is not technique. The point of learning music is expression, right? So we're not learning to play the drums like it's a sport, like we're trying to just be the fastest and the strongest. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with, that's a skill that you learn so that you can express yourself with it, right? Language is the same way. You're using the language to express yourself, right? So when you're listening, you need to try to find ways to keep it interesting and to try to make mental notes that work for you. My last tip will be this. Do you know how to make a good outline?
No.
That's a problem. That's what you need to work on. Okay? Because everything I do in my brain is an outline. If I can make a good argument, it's because I have it in my mind organized. Boom, boom, boom. I can tell you everything you need to know. As a teacher, teachers need this because when you ask me a question, I have to give you an answer, and it has to have an order and it has to be organized, right? So that's about organizing your thoughts. And this is just like when you're writing a paper. The first thing you do when you write a paper is you brainstorm. Just come up with ideas. Just write down something. It doesn't matter. Just put it down on paper. No order. Don't care. Just put it down. Then you look at them and say, well, this should go here, and this should go here, and this should go here. And then you start organizing it. That's when you make an outline. So every argument that I need to make, I have an outline in my mind. Every speech I need to make, I have an outline in my mind. Outlining is a skill that you must learn that helps you learn how to organize your thoughts so that you can speak or write better. Okay? So,
And with note taking, I can have outlines.
yeah, that's what I mean. When I make my notes, almost all the time when I take notes, it's in outline form. All the time. Yeah, like when I used to be like in school, what I would do is I had two pieces of paper. I have one that's the outline, that's a nice organized piece of paper, and I try to listen and make notes in an outline. But then I have another piece of paper over here for maybe they say something and I'm like, I don't know where that's supposed to go. I don't know yet, so I'm gonna put it over here for now, like a side note. Like I don't know what this is about or where this is supposed to go, but I know I need it. So let's put it here for now. Then later, I can try to figure out how's this supposed to go in the outline, right? But during the speech, during the lecture, during the class, I will try to make an outline, point one, what are we talking about today? Biology? Okay, biology. Okay, point two, all right, we're talking about, anatomy. Oh, that's one part of biology. Okay, let's go, right? So, if you can't make a good outline, I don't know how you can write well. Really, because writing well is about having organized thoughts.
I,
Yeah. So when you make a speech, when you make an argument, when you make notes, you need to learn how to make an outline. They're so useful because it's so much quicker. You don't have to write the whole sentence. You just write a couple of words. That's another thing you have to get used to is you have to have your own note system. Sometimes people look at my notes. Maybe they don't totally understand everything. That's okay. That's not for them. They're for me. Right? Not everybody doesn't have to understand your notes. Those are your notes. So sometimes when people are writing notes, they think I need to write something that everybody could understand if they look at this. No. That might take too long. Just write what you need to remember. And then later, if you can write more. But you just need to write the one or two words you need to remember that idea and put it down on paper. Don't write a whole sentence. Outlining is just about the important ideas, just the key words sometimes. Okay?
yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate of your lives because sometimes studying and learning is frustrating, as you said, and you just motivate me. And it's about 2 or 3 years that I participate in your lives, and I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that you watch me. I appreciate that. I'm trying to help people, and it's funny because why do I do this? I don't know why. I do this because it's just like you want to know something, just like I wanted to know something. And so I learned something, and these were the techniques I use. And so it seems like many people think these are good techniques. That's all. And every musician, we all have these techniques because every musician is a self-learner. We all have to study all the time by ourselves. We have to find a way to push ourselves to the next level. So most musicians, we understand how to push yourself so that you're not an amateur, you're a professional. There's a big difference. There's a huge difference. An amateur is always asking about, how much do I need to practice? 30 minutes? An hour? Is that enough? A professional never asks that question. Here's what we say in English. We say, don't limit your challenges. Challenge your limits. So
That was great.
yeah, don't limit your challenges by saying like, oh, can I do it with just 30 minutes? Is an hour? Is that enough? Is that okay? No. Don't do that, man. If you do that, you're already saying, what's the least I can do to be good? That's basically what you're saying. Is like, what's the laziest that I could do to be good at this thing? No, that's the wrong question. That's the wrong question. You should be saying, what's the most I can do? And then, if that's hard for you, the only reason people don't do that is because they think learning is torture. And the reason they think learning is torture is because that's what school taught you. School teaches you learning in the wrong way because school has a job to do. They have to show that they taught you something. That means they have to give you tests. And because they have to give you tests, that means they're under a time limit. And because they're under a time limit, that means that nothing they teach is really good. It's nothing that they teach is really complete. Nothing they teach is really finished. They teach you what the least amount that they can for you to pass a test. That's it, right? And so that means that most people learn that school is about passing tests. No. School is about improving you. Education is about improving you. What I tell people is many people play video games all day, right? And on the video game, when you play the video game, you have a character. And that character, in order to win the game, you have to develop the character. You make them stronger. You give them better equipment, and they get more experience and they're stronger, right? And if you're stronger and you have a strong character with many skills and abilities, that character can win more easily, right?
Yeah.
Welcome to life, everyone. Develop your character. The more you develop your character, the more skills you have, the more ability you have as a person, the more possibilities you have in life, the more chances you have in life, the more opportunities you have in life, the more life offers you. So, life is a video game. You are a character, and your job, education, is the job of developing yourself to win the game. That's it. It's not a complicated thing. Learning, though, learning shouldn't feel like torture. Learning should feel like development. It's a big difference. Development is something for you. Education never felt like it was for you. Education always felt like it was somebody else telling you you have to go to school. So it doesn't feel like it's yours. That's why most people, they really only learn after school. After school. After school is over, then they learn how to learn again. Because learning is not about tests. It's about growth. You know?
Yeah, but it's easy in work, but in applying, it's kind of difficult.
Well, in what way?
For instance, when you want to apply it in your life, for example, you want to always learning, it's kind of difficult. For example, you need to stay at home and learning and try, and you cannot go to parties much or
but
see your friends a lot.
I disagree. Let me tell you why. Because learning is not studying. Learning is a mindset. So, for example, when I'm watching TV and I'm just watching something silly, sometimes when I'm doing that, I'll think like, what would Albert Einstein think if he was watching this show? Or what would, what are the psychological aspects of this show that's going on right now? So what I mean is if you're creativity is a very important part of learning. And if you're creative, you can find ways to learn all the time. It's about learning how to turn your learning brain on so that it's on all the time. So that when you're cooking, you're learning. When you're watching TV and movies, you're learning. When you're hanging out doing nothing, you're learning. You're still learning. You have to turn your brain on and keep it on. And stop trying to pretend like life is better when your brain is off. Like somehow we have taught ourselves that the best life is one where you don't have to do anything or think anything. That's like if I were rich, I don't have to work, I don't have to do anything. But that's not true. That's not real at all. That's why money is not real. Because guess what? Whether money exists or not, you have to do things to be real. Money doesn't make you real. Doing things makes you real. And when I say doing things, I mean doing things that are human things, right? human means like, again, like food, like culture, like music, like art. Those are human things. Those are things that we can learn from and experience, and they make our lives more valuable. So the key, Noah, is that part of being an adult is learning how to make learning part of your daily life. You have to make learning a lifestyle. So I'm not asking you to do more. I'm not asking you to do more. You think I'm asking you to do more. Like, it's hard because I'm so busy. I've got a family and I've got kids and I've got a job. I got too much to do and you want me to study more. No, I want you to. There's a little knob. There's a little switch right back here behind your ear. You need to flip that thing on. And then when it's on, now, even when you're doing nothing, you're doing something. Okay? So this is the funny, weird thing about my brain. I didn't realize that it was that way naturally. I'm just this way. I'm just that way. I never shut up. My brain is always on. It never stops thinking. It never stops questioning. And it's kind of annoying. But then I didn't know. I thought everybody was like that. But now I've realized as a teacher that that's not true. When I was a boy, I remember in the 3rd grade, I had a report card. And I came home and it said on the report card, it said, Mark is a very inquisitive young boy. And I remember asking my mom, Mom, what's inquisitive mean? And it's like the perfect question, right? Because what does it mean? It means you ask a lot of questions. And the thing is when we're children, we all ask a lot of questions. But we are taught that as you get older, you shouldn't ask questions anymore because adults don't ask questions, they answer questions. So that means that you stop asking. But that means your mind is basically turning off. Questions are how you learn. So kids are always asking, who's that? What's that? What are we doing? Where? Why? When? How? That's their mind is always on. But we've trained ourselves as we grow up. That's not mature. You shouldn't ask so many questions. That's like a child's mind. Yeah, it is like a child's mind. And that's brilliant. The most brilliant people never lose their child mind. That's the thing. Child mind means that you're always learning like a child. Okay? So, so keep asking questions. Yeah, and keep working on it, It's all about improvement over time, and that your job is to try to figure out, yesterday I was this person. Yesterday I was this person. How can I be a better me today? We're not comparing you to other people. You can't compare yourself to other people. It's always a bad comparison. You can compare yourself to who you were yesterday. And that's what you should do, When you compare yourself to other people, sometimes you ruin things. That's why I think it was Theodore Roosevelt who said, comparison is the thief of joy. Because it means that every time you feel like, I'm pretty good, then you see them, they're so much better than me, I suck. It's like, like everybody does that, right? But again, that's like taking away your joy. It's like raining on your own parade. That's right? Like sometimes we say, don't rain on my parade. It means, hey, I'm having a nice time. Don't make me feel bad. I'm enjoying it, right? And yeah, this is like you're raining on your own parade. I'm not good. No, you can do it. Yeah. Noah, I think you'll do fine. I think that you have a serious mindset about it. I think that you, and that's important because I'll tell you what, most students say, I really want to learn English, Teacher Mark, but they just say it. It's easy to say it, but most of those people who say it, they don't do anything. They don't actually have a plan. They don't actually make an effort. They don't actually do anything. They just say, I really want to learn English. Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. Anyone can say something. You have to do it. That's different. But I think you're serious. So I think when you say things, you're going to do them. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's good. All right. Well, Noah, I'm going to let you go, but it was a pleasure to meet you, and come back and see me sometime. Thank you for following and paying attention and listening. I appreciate it. It's nice to be, when I do this, I hope it matters. But I never know if it does, So it's nice.
Yeah, it really is. At least to me, it really is. And I always, when I'm disappointed, I watching your live streams, and it really cheers me up, and I can do my best again, and it really motivates me. Thank you for being such an inspiration teacher. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. A teacher needs to feel that, I think. It's what makes it worthwhile. You hope what you do matters, but you never really know. So it's nice to hear. So thank you very much, and I'll see you next time then, okay?
Yeah, thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Don't rain on my parade. Don't rain on my parade. It means, hey, I'm having a nice time, and you're saying all this, like, hey, life is bad, and I'm so sad, and things are depressing, and isn't it terrible? I'm trying to have a good time. I'm trying to enjoy myself. This is a parade. It's la, 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 la. It's fun. But you're over here, that's raining on my parade. Okay? Yeah. Talk is not always cheap. No, it always is. You can always, it's easy to say something, but doing it is not always easy. I can say, I'm the best. Doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything. Okay? It's not brain. It's parade. Don't rain on my parade. Parade. Okay? Yes, I have a certificate in English. I have been teaching English since 2009. I'm the #1 recommended teacher here on Hello Talk, and I have about 83,000 followers here. Parade is P-A-R-A-D-E. P-A-R-A-D-E. Parade. Okay? All right. Tamor has been waiting for a while, so Tamor, come on stage and ask me your questions. You have to be patient if you want to be in my room, everybody.
Speech.
Hello, my friend.
Hello.
How are you?
It was really, thanks. Your speech was really impressive.
Oh, well, thank you. I'm not sure what was impressive, but okay, thank you.
I mean, it was really great listening to your advice.
I'm glad you think so.
Thank you.
And are you in Tehran also?
No. I'm a city near Tehran.
Which one?
Karaj.
Karaj. Is that north, south, east, west? Which one?
South of Tehran.
South of Tehran. Okay. All right. And what can I do for you? How can I help you?
I have 2 questions. Imagine that you are an English teacher and a student wants to go out for some, maybe to drink water or use the bathroom. How can the students should let, I don't know how to say, I mean, can he use may I go out?
Yeah.
May I drink some water?
Right. Yeah. So should you say, can I go to the bathroom, or should you say, may I go to the bathroom?
May I, yeah.
Yeah.
Which
so
one's better?
technically, both are okay, because in common places, sometimes kids say, can I go to the bathroom? And they mean, may I go to the bathroom? May I is more polite. May I is more proper. can I, the problem with can I is, can I, you're asking for permission. You want permission, but can I could have another meaning. It means, am I capable? do I have do I have the ability to do it, right? So sometimes when my students would say, "Can I go to the bathroom?" I would look at them and say, "I don't know, can you?" Because it means they're asking the wrong question. They're saying, am I capable of going to the bathroom? I don't know. Are you capable of going to the bathroom, right? So may I is always for permission. Can I could be for permission or could be capability. Okay?
Yeah, I got it.
Yeah.
And what is a common phrase that the students use in America?
For going to the bathroom?
Yes. For drinking water or going to the bathroom?
May I go to the bathroom? May I get a drink of water?
Mm-hmm. May I drink a drink of water?
May I get a drink of water? May I get
a drink of water? Okay.
Yeah.
And my last question, what does it mean, talk is cheap?
It means that anyone can say anything, right? If I say I'm the best, then that doesn't mean anything. I have to be the best, right? So you saying words, that's no, right? If I say I'm going to write 20 books, that's easy. I can say it. Now, am I going to do it? That's a big difference, right? Saying I'm going to do something is not the same as doing it. So when we say talk is cheap, sometimes we say, what's the other phrase? Let me think. If you're going to talk the talk, then you have to walk the walk.
Yeah, I heard that before.
And that means that if you're going to say something, okay, fine, you said it, wonderful, but now you have to do it. That's really almost the same meaning. Talk is cheap means anybody can say anything. It's so easy to say it, right? To say you're going to do something, to say you are the best, to say I am the king. Whatever. That's easy to say. Doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't mean it's real. It doesn't mean you will. Talk is cheap. It's easy. Anybody can say it. Doing it's not the same. Okay?
Thank you so much. I really appreciated your hard work. And I hope to talk to you later on Hello Talk.
Wonderful. All right. Well, thank you very much, Taimur. And come back and see me again sometime. Take care, my friend. Bye-bye. That was nice to hear that in the background. Yes, talk is cheap. All right, let's see. Let me just check the comments here, and then I'll get somebody else on stage here. How to learn English in a short time. You can't. Anybody who tells you you can learn English in 6 months is not really being truthful. Okay? Learning a language is like learning a musical instrument. If you want to learn the piano, it's not a 1-year thing, it's not a 2-year thing, it's a lifetime thing. Right? You start playing piano and then you finish when you're dead. Same thing for languages. You can start the language, but you can never finish it. So if you can't finish learning it, then there is no way to measure the time. Right? Okay? If a race has no end, then how can you measure it? Okay? Okay, let's see. Does it make sense? My understanding is that learning is about acclimatizing. Sorry, I couldn't say the word. Acclimatizing yourself to the environment. No. Acclimatizing yourself to the environment is acclimatizing. That's acclimatizing. You could say maybe that's adaptation, right? But learning is about growing. That's what learning is. It's taking information and then applying it to grow. That's what learning is. If it's about math or science or music or art, it's information that's new, and now you learn that information and use it to make yourself better. That is learning. And learning is part of adaptation, and adaptation is part of acclimatizing. Okay? But acclimatizing is a word that we use. It has the word climate in it, right? So originally it was used to talk about temperature. To get used to the same temperature is to acclimatize. Okay? So learning is a much more general thing than just acclimatizing yourself to the environment. That's a specific thing. Okay? All right. Please make a phrase, class, or slang. I do not teach slang. I never teach slang. I don't like teaching slang. There's no point. Do you know why? I'll tell you why. Because when I was a boy, we used to say, "Hey, that's so rad, man. That's so rad." Do you guys know what rad means? Who knows what rad means? That's so rad. What does that mean? Or what if I tell you, "Oh man, that thing is the bee's knees. That thing is the bee's knees, man. It's the cat's pajamas. It's the cat's pajamas. It's the bee's knees." Yeah, you don't know. Do you know why? Because radical, rad, that was a word, that was a slang word that we used in the 80s. We don't use it anymore. The bee's knees and the cat's pajamas, those were slang words that were used in the 1930s and 40s. We don't really use them anymore. Slang is temporary, trendy language. Slang is temporary, trendy language. So I don't teach it because it's just temporary. Okay? All right, my next question. Please be patient. Please be patient. How to go from upper intermediate to advanced? Yusuf, you have to push yourself. So you want to be advanced, right? So you're at upper intermediate, that means you're around B2, right? So you want to be at C1, right? So are you doing any C1 reading? Are you studying C1 vocabulary? Are you studying C1 grammar? Do you have C1 exercises to practice for English, right? If you are at B2 and you want to be at C1, then you have to do C1 level material. Okay? All right, let's see. Teach us about could, should, and would. Usman, I can do that, but do you know how many websites there are already that do that? I'm going to give you one, okay? I instead of teaching you about it, I'm just going to give you a website that will give you the answer, okay? So could, should, would. There's a website I like called Woodward English. One moment, let me find the right page. Images. There's a page for should. And is that the right one? Nope, not the right one. Wait a minute. There it is. And here is this one. Okay? Go to Woodward English and you can read their explanations. Perfect explanation. They have, trust me, it will be easy if you go there. All right? Okay, let's see. Next question. All right, please be patient. Okay. All right. And in my case, I've been watching podcasts in English with a slow speed to understand every word in English and try to repeat every word. Okay, Eduardo, that's a pretty good way to do it. Yeah, that's a pretty good way. My last step is to mimic or shadow. Yeah, good, Eduardo. It sounds like you're doing well. You have a plan. Eduardo, most people don't have a plan. Most people, when they're learning, they don't make any plan. They have no plan, no organized way to do anything. They just try to learn randomly. That never works. So if you have a plan, you're doing well. Okay? Hello, Norman. How are you? You love and need to improve your English. The point is that you understand every time somebody tells you everything, but your problem is you don't speak very fluently. Jojo from Italy. Ciao, hello. Jojo, you need to try to learn how to use English in your brain every day. So from now on, Jojo, every time you use simple thoughts, any simple thought, make all your simple thoughts in English. Start teaching your brain to use English in your mind. You can't use English comfortably because you don't have English comfortably in your mind yet. When you get English comfortable in your mind, then it will be comfortable when you speak. Okay? So, when you're learning a language, there are 5 parts of active language. Reading, writing, listening, and speaking. Everybody knows those. That's the 4 parts everybody studies. But the 5th one is thinking. And if you can't think well in English, you can't speak well in English. If you can't think well in English, you can't listen well in English, or read well, or write well. Thinking is the key to any language. Can you use the language in your mind, not with your mouth? Okay. Is the bathroom only for houses and restroom for public places? No. Yeah, Samuel, there's not really a rule about that. That's kind of a personal thing, right? There are some people who say, I need to go to the bathroom, I need to go to the restroom, I need to go to the lavatory, I need to go to the toilet, I need to go to the loo. Whatever you want to say, you can say. All right? No one cares. Nobody's going to say, he said restroom. That's weird. No, nobody cares. Nobody really cares. So you can say bathroom, you can say restroom, you can say toilet. The only thing I would say is maybe if you're in a very formal place, right? If you're at a formal restaurant, like a fine dining restaurant, restroom is probably the best choice, okay? If you're in public and you want to sound a little bit more formal, then you can always say restroom, okay? But in real life, if you're just in your house, you know, I need to go to the bathroom, I need to go to the restroom, I need to go to the toilet, I need to go to the bath. It doesn't matter. Just say whatever you need to say. All right? All right? Okay, let's see. Thank you, AB. Thank you for the compliments and the gifts. English is not our own language. How can you think in English? How do you think in Hindi? If you are hungry, can you think I'm hungry in English? If you are tired, can you think I'm tired in English? If you like something, can you think I like this in English? These are simple thoughts, Govin. I'm not asking you to talk about politics or economics in your mind. I'm not asking you to think about religion. I'm asking you to think baby thoughts. Baby thoughts. Anything that's a baby thought, can you do that in English? Okay? Start with baby thoughts, and then, just like any other language, it will grow. So you start with the simple thoughts, and then you try to build your language to be more complicated, complex, right? Okay? You need a chamber pot. That's funny, Carlos. Yeah. All right. Nobody's raising their hand. If you want to raise your hand, you can. Joe says, that's perfect, but what if I make a mistake? So what? Jojo, sometimes practice is not about perfection. It's about comfortability and flow. Flow. So for example, Jojo, I always try to relate things to music, right? So when you learn a song, like, let me think of, how do I do this? Let me think about my words for just 1 minute. When you're learning a song, like for example, Jojo, everybody knows the song Fier Elise, right? Right? But when you learn that the first time, when you're learning it on piano, I remember when I learned that song, and the first time you do it, you say ba-do-da-do, da-do-da-do, dum. Dun, 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 right? It's not perfect. It doesn't sound good. But you know it's not perfect. You know it doesn't sound good. You're working on it, right? You're working on it. And every day you try to make it sound more musical to your ears, more smooth, more pleasant to your ears, okay? Now, Jojo, when you practice, sometimes you're practicing for perfection. And sometimes you're practicing for comfortability and flow. So what that means is if you learn a simple song, you're trying to learn how to do that with flow so it sounds good. Okay? So when you practice thinking in your mind, the thinking practice is not really about perfect English. It's more about, is my mind comfortable reaching for English words? When I need to think in English, can I use English? Right? So it's not really about perfection. It will have some problems. That's okay, because that's not really the point. The point of the practicing the English in your mind is not perfection. It's for smooth flow. Because if you can't think in English, then that means that every time you need to speak, you need to think in your language, translate, and then say English. And that's too slow. So the point of learning how to think in English every day is not to be perfect. Sure, you're going to make some mistakes. Maybe your word order will be a little bit more grammatically like Italian, right? That's okay, Joe. It's all right, man. We're not shooting for perfection. We're shooting for comfortability, right? So think about it like this, Joe. I want you to get in the water and I want you to swim, okay? When you swim, nobody swims perfectly the first time. Nobody swims perfectly the first time, right? But the more time you spend in the water, the more comfortable you get. That's language. The more time you spend in the water by using your mind, the more comfortable you get. Okay? So, Joe, I live in the United States. I speak Chinese. I can speak Chinese because every day I practice Chinese just by doing my normal life. Everything that I normally do, I just do it, and in my head is Chinese. Now, is it perfect Chinese? No. That's why I tell people, actually, Joe, my Chinese is not perfect. It's actually really bad. But it's like really, I speak really bad Chinese really well. So what that means is everybody understands me. Everybody knows maybe some of the things I say, they sound a little weird. Maybe it's not perfect, like not the way a native speaker would say, but no one ever corrects me. Why do they need to correct me if they understood me? Okay? Life is not a grammar test. Okay, so if you come to my room and you want to talk to me on stage, of course you can. But there is one thing that I hate. There's one thing I hate, one thing that I do not tolerate, and one thing that really annoys me. Do you know what that one thing is? Impatience. The one thing I hate is impatience. Okay, so for example, I was talking, I was teaching, I was trying to make a point. And while I was talking, while I was teaching, Miss Meersed said, "May I join? May I join? May I join? Why aren't you answering me? May I join?" And now they're gone. Impatience. If you have no patience, please leave. Okay? I have 83,000 followers. I am here to help everyone, not just you. And it's really, really, really rude and selfish when you join somebody's room and you don't listen to what they're saying and you don't pay attention to what they're doing. Yeah. So, Samia, how to improve your English language. Samia, that's a big question. Samia, many years ago, I went to my teacher and I asked him, "How can I be a good drummer?" And he said, "Mark, that's a terrible question." And I said, "Why is that a terrible question? I want to be a good drummer. How can I be a good drummer?" He said, "Mark, people have written books about how to be a good drummer. If there are books about it, then I cannot answer that question. I can give you a book and tell you to read it, but I can't answer that question because it's too big." So, one of the most important things to learn, if you are a student, you must have questions, but you must have good questions. And how can I be good? That's not a good question. Okay? But Samia, I have been on Hello Talk for 12 years. I have been a teacher since 1994. I have been teaching English since 2009. If you follow me here, I'm here Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday. Okay? I have done 2,000 hours of teaching here. 1,200 live streams. Okay? So, if you want to learn and you want to improve, then you can come and watch and follow my YouTube and watch my YouTube and read my blog and go to my website and study. Okay? All right. So if no one will correct my mistakes when I talk, then how can I improve? Yusuf, you need to improve by studying English. So if you practice on your own and you make some mistakes, that is normal. That's what will happen. But then after you practice, then you study. And when you study, you're studying the rules. You're studying the correct way. And if you study the correct way, you spend some time studying the correct way, then your speaking will improve. You will make improvements. You will correct yourself over time. But you can't correct yourself if you don't study the rules. Okay? Thank you, Norman, for that. I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, and also many times the words don't come out automatically and I block every time. Jojo, that's just a matter of practice, man. Language is an art, Jojo. Language is an art. right? And some days I speak brilliantly, and some days I sound like a moron. That means stupid person, okay? Language is an art. It takes practice to be brilliant in speaking, okay? And everybody forgets words. Everybody, including me. There are many times when I can't remember a word. That's okay. That's because there are too many words. There are a lot of words, okay? So, Jojo, the more comfortable you become, the less you'll forget, okay? All right, Charlie says, then there is a question which I'm facing when talking with others. Sometimes we may lose our words and think a long time what to say. Right. So usually when you lose your words, it's because you can't think in English. So every time someone says something, you have to think about it and translate it in your mind, and then you can speak, right? You have to listen to them, translate what they said to your language, then you have to think about your language, then translate that to English. That is too slow. That is too slow. That's why you must be able to think in English. You have to learn how to read and write and listen and speak. But most importantly, you must know how to think in English. Okay? I wish... Fatima, the difference between I wish I was and I wish I were. That's an interesting one. Hold on. Oh man, my throat is getting dry. Oh, I hate when that happens. Stop that. Show more. There we go. So we use were for formal and traditional grammar. Okay? So it should be formally and traditionally were. Okay? I wish I were better. Right? However, was is commonly used and commonly accepted. Okay? It's one of those things where on the grammar test you should say were, but you are going to hear people say was a lot. Okay? All right. And what is my YouTube channel? My YouTube channel is here. I have issues with grammar. You don't know how to use it in writing and speaking. ChatGPT, ChatGPT, ChatGPT. The easiest way to fix your grammar is to tell ChatGPT what you just told me. Tell ChatGPT. I have issues with grammar. I don't know how to use it when I'm writing and speaking. Tell that to ChatGPT. And it will create a program to help you improve those. Okay? Grammar, the best resource for grammar right now is ChatGPT. There is no better resource. Okay? Thank you, Jojo. Grazie mille. Let's see. Nowadays, people focus on hard vocab and accent, but after hearing you, I get to know that these things don't matter. Well, they matter. They matter, Annika. I mean, I teach advanced vocabulary. Sometimes I do a live stream about advanced vocabulary. But I also want you to understand that simple language is good all the time. Simple language always works. Complicated language doesn't always work. Okay? And there's another rule of language that's similar to music. In music, we say, simple music played well is always better than complicated music played poorly. So if you can play a simple song beautifully, that's always better than playing a really complicated, difficult song poorly. So sometimes when you try to use those advanced words, you're not that good with them, so you don't sound that good. But if you use simple language, you can use that creatively to be very powerful. and deep. Simple words can be used to say profound and deep things. Okay? Okay, if you go to my YouTube channel, How Can You Think in English? There is a video on my YouTube channel called How to Think in English. Go watch it. Okay? Go watch it. Is there any website to practice your speaking for free? Right here. Hello Talk. Right? But you have to talk to people. You have to try to meet them. There's some work you have to do because you have to make friends. Many people, this is important, let me tell you guys, everybody pay attention. Most people who use Hello Talk, they use it incorrectly. Okay? Hello Talk is not a place to find a free teacher, except for me. Hello Talk is not a place to find a free teacher. No! Hello Talk is a place to find a friend. A friend! And do you know what's great about friends? Friends help you when you need it. So if you need help, you need a friend. But if you just say, hi, do you want to be my friend? That doesn't work. Friendship takes time. Friendship takes commitment. Friendship takes development. You have to work on it. You have to build a friendship. So, Hello Talk is a great app that has a lot of value, but most people have no patience. So they download the app and they say, hello, 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 hello. They say hello to 20 people and nobody replies. And then they go, delete? Oh, this app sucks. This app is terrible. Delete? No, the problem is that you don't have any patience, one. And two, all you did was say hello. What is that? If I say hello to you on the street, are you going to stop and talk to me and have a conversation with me and be my friend? No. You have to say more than hello. Introduce yourself. That's the biggest problem on Hello Talk. It is so insane. It's so stupid that you don't understand one simple thing about language, that when you meet a new person, you have to introduce yourself. Let me say that again. When you meet a new person, you have to introduce yourself. I need my God voice for this. You must introduce yourself. Hello is not an introduction. Hello is nothing. Okay? You have to say, hello, my name is blah, blah, blah. I read your profile and you seem very interesting. I see that you like cooking. I like cooking too. I see that you like movies. I like movies too. I see that you like music. I like music too. Okay? But what is wrong with you that you think this is enough? It's not. It doesn't matter if you're on the internet or not. You must introduce yourself. You must introduce yourself. If someone did not reply to you, if all you did was this, that's why they didn't reply to you. They didn't reply to you because you just did this. Okay? They didn't reply because you were lazy. You were lazy. That's it. All right? All right. Let me check my comments here. What time will you be fluent? Govind, there is no time. Fluency doesn't exist either, because fluency can't be defined. How many words do you need to know to be fluent? Do you need to know 10,000 or 10,001 or 10,050? Do you need to have perfect grammar to be fluent, or can your grammar be a little bit messy? Does accent matter in fluency? So fluency is a stupid word that has no value. If you cannot define it, you cannot achieve it. How do you define fluency? I'm comfortable. That's not a definition, that's a feeling. So that's why I would say you can't define fluency, so you can't achieve fluency. But you can talk about comfortability. Comfortability is what you should be trying to achieve, to get comfortable with the language. When you're comfortable, you can relax. When you're comfortable, you can play with it. It's not difficult, it's fun. All right? All right, next, let's see. How can I refuse an offer for work more politely? Because sometimes I think they want me, but I'm not interested. Norman, sometimes, Norman, we just kind of fib a little bit. We lie a little bit. We just say, I'm busy. I'm booked. I'm booked up. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm too booked. You know, my schedule is full. I'll see if I can fit you in another time, maybe, you know. But also, Norman, I think also sometimes, Norman, you have to be able to say no. Okay? If every time someone asks you something, you always say yes, you're giving away your power. Every time you do that, you give away your power every time you say yes. Saying no is how you get your power back. Sometimes you have to say no. I can't do that. I'm sorry. Thank you for the offer. I really appreciate it. I truly do. But I want to limit myself and, or, you know, you can say something like, you know, right now my schedule is full, but if you want to contact me again in the future, we can see, you know, right? Something like that, all right? But you have to make boundaries. You have to make boundaries. Hello Talk is not totally free. You're right, it's not totally free, but it's mostly free. And if you don't want to pay anything, you don't have to talk to people every day. Okay? All right, thank you, Charlie and Norman, for helping me with my links. Thank you very much. Okay? Am I speaking with my normal speed? Masood, sometimes I'm speaking about 10% slower than normal. Like right now, I'm speaking about 10% slower than my normal speed. Why? Because I'm a teacher. And if you are a teacher, then you must speak so that everyone can understand. So you speak more slowly. All right? Okay, let's see. If you can understand me, it means your listening is good, but it also means that I'm a professional. It's my job to speak well. That's why you understand. Okay? Yes, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Yes. Okay. Masood, I hope I answered your question in time. I think that Hello Talk for practice and a person should at least have a good level in the language to be able to practice effectively. Fatima, sure. Like I said, you have to find a friend. And that friend has to be qualified. They have to have enough knowledge to be able to teach you something about it, right? And that's a valuable thing. So that means that if you talk to 50 people, maybe 3 of them will be good. If you talk to 50 people, maybe 3 will be good. All right? Let me check here. Good. All right. You're a beginner in English, so how many days to take to get improvement? Don't stop asking about how long. The journey of 10,000 miles begins with one step. The journey of 10,000 miles begins with one step. So, Chaitanya, stop asking how long it takes. It doesn't matter how long it takes. Put your foot in front of the other foot and start moving forward. Don't ask about how long it takes. Just start. Okay? Why do I get frustrated? Because I'll tell you why. Because some people, they come here and they say, Teacher Mark, how do I do it faster? And then tomorrow they ask me, how do I do it faster, Teacher Mark? And next month they will ask me, Teacher Mark, how can I do it faster? And next year they will ask me, is there a shortcut, Teacher Mark? Is there a faster way to learn? So they will ask me today, they will ask me tomorrow, they will ask me next week, they will ask me next month, they will ask me next year. But the one thing they don't do, they don't start. They keep waiting for someone to tell them a shortcut. Stop looking for a shortcut and just start walking. Okay? Whenever I listen to a podcast or whatever I do I have to pause and translate each word that I don't understand or just go on? No, just listen, but try to find podcasts that you can understand. Right? Yes, I do. This is on YouTube also right now. Everything I do on Hello Talk is on YouTube. That's right. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. What about Amazon? What about it? How about some people start and stop and then ask me? Well, yeah, there's no shortcuts. Yes, if you start and practice consistently, one day you will get your goal. Yes, yes, yes. Let me say that again. Yes. All right, guys, I have been here for 2 hours and 36 minutes. My voice is getting a little dry. I need to go. It's hard to talk that long. Okay? But I am here 6 days a week. I'm here 6 days a week, Monday through Friday, Monday through Saturday. I'm usually here 6 days, 5 days a week, something like that, okay? I have been on Hello Talk for 12 years. I've been here for 12 years. I've been live streaming for 5 years. I have done 1,200 live streams, more than that. I have done 2,000 hours of this. 2,000 hours of this. Okay? I am a real teacher. This is my job. It's not just a hobby, it's my job. Okay? So follow me, and you can come back and see me again. Okay? If you want to follow me, go to my Linktree right here. My Linktree has my YouTube. My Linktree has my website. My Linktree has my blog. My Linktree has my podcast. My Linktree has everything. Okay? And next week I am going to do a special live stream for my birthday. Next week is my birthday, and I'm old, and so I'm going to have a big celebration, and I'm going to do a very long live stream next week. So we'll see. I'm going to try to do 8 hours. So I just did 2.5 hours. On my birthday, I'm going to try to do 8 hours of being here and talking and playing music, and we'll talk and I'll answer questions and we'll hang out and I'll play music and we'll eat food. Yeah, okay? But if you want to learn then come and watch, okay? But please remember, you can't get all of your answers in one day. You can't get all of your answers in one day, okay? So, but you don't have to. You don't have to. If you come here every day, because I have 83,000 followers, that means I have a lot of people who ask me questions. Questions about reading and writing and listening and speaking, questions about grammar, questions about how to think in English, vocabulary questions, pronunciation questions, accent questions, confidence questions, public speaking questions, interview questions. I answer all of those questions. So whatever questions you have, someone else has that question and they've already asked me. They've already asked me and I've already answered. If you go to my YouTube channel and you watch my videos, everything I know is on my YouTube channel. Everything I know about language is on my YouTube channel. But you have to watch it, and that's going to take some time. All right? Go to my link tree. That's my link tree right there. On my link tree, you can find everything. My YouTube, my website, everything is on my link tree. Okay? I just gave it to you. That's my link tree, okay? All right, guys, I really do need to go. My voice is dry and scratchy. I have to go. But have a good morning, have a good afternoon, have a good evening, wherever you live in the world. And I hope you will come back and see me again sometime. And I hope you will come to my big birthday marathon live stream next week. Okay? All right, I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.